Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. And today I'm doing the 30 subscribers special, and that will be what if Naruto had the Death Note. And the reason I'm doing this is mostly because one, a lot of people haven't made this what if, and two, it's just that I don't know, like I really like Death Note. Not the Netflix movie, but like the anime series, and I decided to make a what if on it. And I will be finishing what if Naruto could copy abilities. Part 4 for that will be coming hopefully very soon, and then I'll also release the movie. But yeah, thanks a lot for 30 subs, guys, and yeah, let's get into it. So since this is a one shot, I will try not to make this too long, and I'm gonna go everything a bit more briefly. So I will go in depth with the backstory, but in the end, I'm not gonna make this into like a full blown series, so I'm not gonna explain everything with that much detail. So things for Naruto are exactly the same until one day when he's returning from the academy. Now, a big plot hole in the Naruto series is how Naruto takes fails the Genin exam 3 times, yet he's the same age as Sasuke, who started and finished the Genin exams. At the same time as it's confusing how Naruto was able to fail the Chunin exams, Genin exams that many times, but whatever. So in one of the times when he failed the exams, Naruto was, really sad. He had been training for this his entire life almost, and all of his dreams were just crushed before his eyes. He would have to try again another year to try his luck at becoming a Genin. People didn't get it. He was going to become the Hokage, but to become the Hokage, he had to become a Genin first. And he was walking out of at school, looking out the window. It was raining, and while he was looking outside, he saw a book fall from up in the sky. From as high up as he can see, a book fell and landed on the ground outside the school, on the grass, and it just laid there, nobody picking it up. Naruto was immediately interested, and the instant school ended, Naruto walked outside and opened the book. This was the Death Note. And I'm not gonna read all of the conditions of the Death Note. I'm not gonna be doing anything too crazy like Light Yagami did. Naruto is nowhere near as smart as Light Yagami, so he is not going to be pulling off them big brain plays where he uses I don't even know what Light does. He is just too genius. And yeah, it's just going to be more basic features of Death Note. Like what you should know is basically if you write someone's name in the Death Note, their first name and last name, and you have who that person is, then you can basically kill them however you want them to die, and whenever you want them to die. So Naruto, after reading all of the conditions, is confused on what to do. The Death Note, he doesn't know quite how it can help him, but he knows that, this is going to be helpful on his journey to become Hokage. This will be most likely his greatest weapon. And that day, when he was going home, a bunch of villagers came up to him. The villagers were shop owners of a shop that Naruto had, basically vandalized with his paint-filled balloons. Like, he just put a bunch of paint all over their shop, so, they were really mad. And they basically kidnapped Naruto, taking him out into the forest, far away from the village. And on the way, Naruto realized that these people were way too strong for him, as he asked the people, he could hear the people talking, and they were, talking to each other, and Naruto was listening closely, because this would be an opportunity to save his life. As he listened, he heard the people talking to each other, and, by coincidence, he was able to tell the names of 2 of the 3 people. And since he had seen them, he was like, okay, so I know the first and last name of the first 2. So if I can just kill them, I have a way to, get out of here. But wait, that won't be enough. And then he had a brilliant idea. And I know Naruto's not supposed to be smart, but you know what? I just had I changed my mind. If the owner of the Death Note isn't smart, this isn't going to be a Death Note. What if? So, Naruto at least has somewhat of a brain. He has at least a bit of IQ. He can think. So in the notebook, he tries it out, and he writes the name of the first person, saying that they will die in 1 minute, after suddenly deciding to release Naruto and let him free, and then attacking the one other person that Naruto does not know the name of, until he suddenly dies and collapses from a heart attack. Well, that's what he writes in his book, the notebook, so that will happen. And then for the other guy, he writes that he will blurt out the name of the third person that Naruto does not know the name of. And yes, this is possible, because although in the notebook, if something is beyond human capability, they won't do it. But this is definitely something that Death Note can do. Someone can, blurt out the name of someone they're very close friends with before, as Naruto makes them do, start randomly attacking them before also suddenly collapsing and dying from a heart attack. And instantly, Naruto's plan goes into motion. Anyways, after the second person blurts out the name of the third person, and I know I'm calling them first person, second person, and third person, but I'm not gonna come up with first names and last names for 3 people. I can't do that. And basically, the plan goes into motion, and Naruto also kills off the final person. And as everyone does exactly what Naruto has told them to do, Naruto is freed. And the third person, after, because he's being attacked by the 2 other people, buys enough time for Naruto to write his name, saying that he will escort him to the village back and put him in his house, before also suddenly going outside and dying from a heart attack. And as everything happens, and Naruto's escorted to his home, and then the last person dies off, Naruto feels guilt and regret. He just killed 3 people. And even for Light Yagami in the original Death Note, this is a huge burden, knowing that you were killing all these people. But Naruto, thinking that the villagers deserved it, is, he kind of awakens this dark side within him. And for the next year in the academy, he, tries hard again, but keeps failing until eventually we get back to what happens in canon Naruto, and where he fails again. But the teacher is just like, hey, you know what? There's a secret part to the Chunin exams. Genin exams. And so, if you steal this scroll, I will let you pass. So Naruto, just like in the original, ends up trusting Mizuki and steals the scroll of whatever it's called and learns the multi-shadow clone jutsu. But when Mizuki eventually arrives to confront Naruto and tries stealing the scroll, Naruto does not use the shadow clone jutsu to kill him. Instead, he writes a little note in his pocket as he starts walking towards Mizuki, and Mizuki's like, don't be so cocky, kid. You know, you're about to die doing this, don't you? As he throws his humongous kunai his huge shuriken at Naruto. But the shuriken completely misses and goes like far off target and lands in the ground. And Naruto smirks. Mizuki, knowing that this must have been Naruto's doing, starts getting scared. And Naruto looks up, and the expression in his face just completely scares the heck out of Mizuki. And, Mizuki tries throwing another one of his shuriken as it once again completely misses its target and goes flying in another direction. Mizuki, not knowing what to do, falls backwards off the tree and then randomly passes out and then dies. Now, Iruka, having seen this whole encounter without quite understanding Naruto's ability, was completely shocked. And, Iruka was like, Naruto, you pass. You're a genin now. And, he has like this fear in his voice. After seeing what Naruto did, he is completely afraid of Naruto, and everyone really should be, because Iruka, if Naruto wanted to, he could easily kill him, so he should be scared. But Naruto passes and gets assigned to Team 7. Now, during the bell test, everything once again goes the same, because Naruto's death note will not come in handy here, knowing that he does not want to kill his new sensei. He's not that evil, and if he gets the bells that way, he's literally just going to end up being sent to the academy anyways, because he doesn't have a sensei. So it's just kind of like a lose-lose sort of deal if he uses the death note on Kakashi. Of course, he could have used the death note on Sakura and made Sakura do something in her dying moments or something, but he doesn't use the death note during the bell test, and the bell test goes the same way it does, and Team 7 ends up doing all of these missions together for a while, helping old ladies cross the road, catching missing cats, and all of that boring stuff. Of course, Team 7 eventually ends up asking Hiruzen for a better mission, and Hiruzen assigns them a mission to escort Tazna. Now, they go to the Land of Waves, and the demon brothers are handled. Naruto has that whole moment where he stabs a kunai into his hand to remove the poison and show his bravery. And then Zabuza arrives. As the blade just hits the tree and Zabuza lands on it, Kakashi utters his name, Zabuza Momochi. And Naruto, hearing this, is like, aha, this is my golden opportunity, because Kakashi would not know about Naruto's ability. Actually, no one would except for Naruto, because he wouldn't share this with anyone. And hearing this name, he's like, huh, okay. As he pulls out a notebook and pen from one of his, kunai pockets and starts writing in it. And now nobody can see what he writes in it, but they're like, we're in the middle of a fight and you're like writing something in your journal? I swear, Naruto, you're so like annoying and useless. But then they're like completely shocked when Naruto says, leave it to me. And he walks up to Zabuza and asks him, who is with you? And Zabuza being under the effect of the Death Note, because the Death Note makes him say the names of, so what Naruto wrote was he made Zabuza say the names of anyone who he might be working with, like the full name, and then for him to slowly die, as to once again draw out all of the people trying to help him. And so Zabuza talks about Haku, and Haku's like, why on earth did you do that? Is this like the kid's ability? And so Zabuza starts dying, Haku comes in, Naruto kills both of them using the Death Note, and that's the Land of Waves arc done. After that, we have the Chunin exams. And yes, I am kind of going to be speedrunning this whole thing because, this is a one-shot. So, I don't want to make things too long, so I'm not going to be going into too much detail, as I've said before. Anyways, Kakashi tells them about the Chunin exams, and they all accept. Now, when they enter, Lee challenges Sasuke, which goes exactly the same as how it goes in the, original canon Naruto. The test also goes the exact same. Naruto does not use his Death Note to, he could. If his life depended on this, he would be able to, kill other people while making them do something so he can get answers or something like that, but he doesn't want to kill people, so Death Note doesn't help him out much there, but that goes the same as normal, so he passes. And the Forest of Death is the first real chance he gets to use the Death Note, and this is where it gets interesting, because when he sees, when they meet Orochimaru, and Sasuke manages to melt his face off. It's basically, Naruto gets to hear his name as Orochimaru, who I do not believe has a last name, says, oh well, I guess my identity, my disguise has been blown. I'm Orochimaru, one of the 3 legendary Sannin. And Naruto hearing this, I'm pretty sure Naruto was already basically about to pass out at that point during the fight, but he does hear Orochimaru's name. So that goes the same as the original. Sasuke unfortunately does end up getting the curse mark, but eventually Team 7 makes it and they are able to pass the Chunin exams. The second stage of the Chunin exams. Now for the preliminaries, Naruto decides to spare Kiba. Come on. He wouldn't want to, he wouldn't want to kill his classmate. He's not that evil. So that fight also goes the same as canon, which is why I'm skipping over it. But then, the final stage of the Chunin exams is when there's a difference. Now, here in the final stage of the Chunin exams, what happens is Neji, talks about all the destiny stuff with Naruto, and Naruto is completely sick of Neji after what he did to Hinata, and everything he said to Naruto about destiny and how Naruto is destined to lose this match. Naruto opens his notebook and he's like, excuse me for a second, as he writes stuff down on his paper. And he knows Neji is Neji Hyuga because he talks about how he's a Hyuga, like that's his entire speech, and Naruto knows he's called Neji. So Naruto's like, my prediction is predicting the future. I mean my ability is predicting the future. And Neji freezes for a second. And of course Naruto is lying, but not exactly. As Naruto hands over a piece of paper to Neji, and this is when the dark side of Naruto comes out, his hate for the villagers, and his hate for the village and the people who had treated him so bad. And Neji, after his speech, he had just sealed his own fate. And as Naruto handed over the paper to Neji's eyes widened as he read what Naruto had written down. And he was like, this is a lie! I am going to win! And he crumples up the piece of paper and tosses it aside. And Naruto is like, once I write my prophecy, your fate is sealed. And Neji just like, he's like, we'll see about that. As Neji starts dashing at Naruto, but then stops in his tracks. And then he falls down to the ground and starts, and he's like, wait, was it actually true? But how? Why is this happening? And then everything goes black as Neji dies, which is kind of sad, but the dark side of Naruto just came out during the fight. And Naruto feels a bit of regret, but he just gets over it and just goes out of the arena saying, oh well, that was a bit of an easy fight. And because of his Death Note ability, he had purposefully done research on literally every person there in the exams. So when Sasuke fought Gaara and Gaara ended up escaping, Naruto just had to write stuff in his Death Note and he was able to kill Gaara. And I know I'm making him just kill everybody who actually ends up becoming an important and good person in the future, but too bad. Naruto is kind of evil in this what if, so that's just what happens. And after seeing what's happening to Hiruzen with his fight with Orochimaru, Naruto, having heard Orochimaru's name and once again hearing it now during the fight, also kills Orochimaru using his Death Note, which doesn't quite work because Orochimaru can literally just come back from his curse marks or whatever, and then he can get sealed by the whatever it's called, blade, and then literally come back, and then he's killed, and his arms get Orochimaru always comes back. But yeah, for the time being, Orochimaru's dead. And eventually, Naruto does explain his ability to Hiruzen. And, Tsunade becomes the new Hokage. Naruto also explains his ability to Tsunade. Now, to be honest, the Akatsuki are gonna be probably the easiest thing for Naruto, because Naruto, Jiraiya can learn the names of almost all of the Akatsuki members, and using that, Naruto was able to, kill those Akatsuki members before, of course, using his death note to make them confess all of their plans and the names of the other members. But of course, there were two people left out, Obito and Nagato. They were the two sole survivors of the Akatsuki. Nobody knew their name. Well, nobody knew Nagato's. Well, actually, Nagato did eventually get found, because after Conan was also got Naruto got Conan with the death note and made her talk about Nagato. So Naruto was also able to kill Nagato. And to be honest, Naruto just takes Nagato's eyes. I'm not even gonna give them to Obito. Not happening. Naruto takes the eyes. Naruto gets the Rinnegan. It's just that easy. Naruto does kill Nagato after all, so he deserves those Rinnegan. Of course, Naruto does leave Itachi for Sasuke. So Sasuke does have his final fight with Itachi, and Itachi dies. Sasuke gets the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and now all that's left is Zetsu and Obito. Now, Naruto isn't able to learn the name of Zetsu or Obito, which means he isn't able to kill them. Which is why when Zetsu and Obito come to attack the Leaf Village, having taken the responsibility of collecting up all of the tailed beasts they took all the responsibility for themselves, and now they're alone, the sole two survivors, I guess, of the Akatsuki, trying to, revive the Ten Tails and Madara. But the Leaf Village does have Naruto, and I guess Naruto does have Sage Mode and the Rinnegan. So Zetsu can't really do much. Zetsu's definitely not weak, but he's not the type of person that's gonna destroy half the Leaf Village if left unchecked. He doesn't have a lot of destructive power. It's hard to kill Zetsu, but it's also hard for Zetsu to kill you if you're good enough. So Naruto and Sasuke, I guess, at this point, who probably has returned to the village, they end up fighting Obito. And eventually Obito takes Kakashi into his Kamui realm, and yes, Kakashi did unlock his Mangekyo Sharingan, and they have their whole fight, the thing where Kakashi's like, wait, you're Obito? And Obito's like, yeah, and everything. And now Kakashi knows Obito's name and last name, and it's up to him whether he wants to tell Naruto or not. Now, Obito does not know about Naruto's ability, so he didn't know the danger of revealing his identity. But now that his identity is out, it's kind of like the choice is on Kakashi. Does he A, tell Naruto about about Obito's name, or B, does he just keep that to himself and act as if he never learned it, and just defeat Obito otherwise and try to convert him? But Kakashi chooses C, which was probably the better answer. And yes, this was a trick question, because he did both. He told Naruto about Obito's name, and told Naruto that he's only allowed to kill Obito if everything goes for the worst and Kakashi dies. But if that doesn't happen, he is not allowed to kill Obito, and they're gonna take him prisoner and interrogate him, I guess. And after tough fighting and Naruto's new Sage Mode plus Rinnegan ability combo and Sasuke's like Susanoo like Amaterasu thing and Kakashi's Kamui combo, Obito probably won't be able to beat them. Like, if, Ten Tails Obito had, with a Rinnegan, had trouble against that trio, then normal Obito without a Rinnegan will probably lose, and so he does. And, they take Obito as a prisoner, and they do end up capturing Zetsu as well, and Naruto just kills Zetsu with his Death Note, which is probably like one of the very few ways that you can actually kill Zetsu. And yeah, I guess Naruto talk no jutsus Obito back into the good side. And the whole thing with reviving Madara, gone. And honestly, that's all. That's just like the entire What If Naruto Had the Death Note series. Of course, if Ishiki does come, Naruto knows Ishiki's first and last name, so does, he knows the first and last name of Momoshiki, so that's pretty easy. He can just kill them and make them give Naruto his eyes, which kind of does make Naruto a god who has like literally every type of Rinnegan and Akatsuki eye. But, he's just OP in that way. But yeah, this is a new style I've been working on. I don't really know how to do one-shots very well, because time limitation is really difficult. So, if you made it this far, please comment, like, should I completely stop doing one-shots, and how can I improve? But yeah, that's all, and see you next time.